So you in 82, 83, you moved back east, back in. Well, I mean, you hadn't lived in Tennessee previous, but your family moves to Tennessee, and you follow suit a few months later.
So now I live in Oak Ridge.
Okay.
And one day, driving down the street, fairly close to where my parents live, where we have this house, I noticed there's somebody that drives a Mustang, a white Mustang that has a Utopia bumper sticker. And about 6 months later, I met this guy named Walter Moore, who was a guitar player, kind of multi-instrumentalist type, and I found out that he was the guy that drove that car with the Utopia bumper sticker.
Right.
So we hit it off pretty quick, and then we had several bands together. And eventually, he also wound up as a member of Glass Hammer. I brought him into Glass Hammer years later. That's kind of a different story, but he was somebody that I started doing a lot of gigging with. And we had a couple cover bands, and that was the beginning of doing music. And once again, actually, no, let's back up a little bit. Before I'd really hooked up with him, I went out on an audition, because I was going to college. I actually got accepted to UT. So, the music thing's over. I was like, okay, I have my fill of that. I'm done. I'm going to go to college, get a degree, and do whatever. But I got really, really bored one night, and I still owned my Minimoog, and just for giggles, basically, I went on a band audition. Never wanting to join the band, I just wanted something to do that night. So I packed off and went off and jammed with this band. And somehow, before the end of the night, they basically talked me into joining. So I had to go home and Mom, Dad, I kind of join this band.
so you quit and you ended up getting back into it.
Yeah. So I was in a band called Special Guest, and we were kind of like a third-tier touring band in the Southeast. We played the C circuit.
Okay. the C circuit.
The C circuit, yeah. I mean, there were a couple definite circuits, and that's absolutely where we were at.
Right.
And, our manager for a period of time was one John T-Tack. I won't go into that, but somebody watching this video is going to know exactly who I'm talking about. And he's going to know exactly what kind of band I was.
So whoever you are out
T-Tack. Yeah.
So you had actually got you're at UT. How far did you get into the program there?
Into what?
At UT. You said you had started college at UT?
No, I didn't start. I got accepted.
Oh, you got accepted.
That's as far as it went. Never paid any tuition, never went to school. I mean, like I said, this all derailed me completely again.
Oh, wow. So it just, you didn't even get that far?
No.
Okay. Oh, man, that's great.
It made my parents happy that I got accepted. I mean, that was a good thing. So.
Right. And so you got the street cred of, I could have gone if I wanted.
I could have gone.
So now you're touring in a what was the name of it again?
Special Guest.
Special. What a great name.
Well, it's a pretty great name until you put it on a marquee. It's one of those things where, they get the phone call who is it? No, that's the band, Special Guest. Right, who is it?
Right.
The Abbott Costello routine, basically.
Who's on first? No, really.
We thought it was a genius name until we found out how the club owners reacted to it.
Right. Now, how long did you guys tour? How long did that go?
I don't know. I think it did that it might have been a year.
Okay.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, it lasted a decent while. Right. And then band members started dying. I think I got out of it really before. That's one of those things where, looking back on it now, I think there's probably 2 people out of that whole organization left alive, and I'm one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a bunch of, I don't know. It's sad. It's shocking to me, but, there's people really out trying to live that rock and roll lifestyle in a way that results in that kind of an end, but seriously, it happened.
Right.
And it's pretty much all drug and alcohol related, one way or another. And it's
right.
ODs. Somebody drove their car drunk into a lake one night. Some guy died in a cocaine-related car accident. I mean, this is all years after the fact, but it's just scary stuff. So, I'm kind of glad I exited that situation when I did.
Right. Got out in the nick of time.
Yeah, probably. And I don't know. I was never really that big of a rock and roll party scene kind of person.
Right.
And then I had my years of indulgence of one thing or another, but it was never like that. So.
Right. So let me ask you this. So you're kind of, I mean, at this point, what is this? This is the mid 80s, right? 86, somewhere in there?
Yeah, matter of fact, it might even have been earlier, because I think by 86, that's when I was playing with Walter, and we were down at Six Flags Over Georgia, of all things. We had a summer gig there.
Okay.
And I think we had probably played in a band together for at least a year before that. So we're probably talking somewhere around 84.
Okay.
I think 86 is the year that we went down to Six Flags.
Okay.
I always think it's 84 because somehow in my mind, us being in that band doing that gig is tied up with 90125 coming out.
Right.
But it had to have been a lot later.
Okay. Now,
maybe it was 85.
At what point were you getting into like songwriting and composition and kind of having your hand in that part of the process?
It was getting to be around then. I actually wrote a couple songs with that sort of improvising band that I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
And a couple of them utterly stink, but probably the first one that I wrote that was any good was going under the name Maneuvers at the time, but it resurfaced. It's on Chronometry as chrono theme.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that was actually like the first decent thing I ever wrote. Because that song goes all the way back to 82 or 83 or something.
Right.
And then at the time that Walter and I were playing in the cover band that went to Six Flags, we had a little side project. Him playing bass, I was playing keyboards. We had a keyboard bass power trio with his drummer. And I think we were called Just Add Water. And once again, it was never a band that ever gigged or anything. We just get together and kind of work on songs and record. And just about every bit of that stuff has been reprocessed as Glass Hammer music somewhere along the way.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was kind of the start of really trying to write things. And at that point, I was just all about UK and Eddie Jobson. It was all pretty much trying to do accomplish what they accomplished as a three-piece with keyboards. And I was like playing a whole lot more synthesizer kind of stuff. But that really was the beginning. Kind of trying to think in terms of writing songs that could be performed live with just two hands and a bass player. And that was actually pretty cool. I could get away with it back then. I don't think I can even play that way now. I had hand independence back then, which is completely gone now. I can't do anything with my left hand at all.
Come on now.
No, it's true. I have octaves and bass, and that's all it does.
Well, no.
Occasionally it'll hold down a chord, but that's about it.